The Bridge of Eldoria, Chapter 1, The Glass Walls. The stark white of the hospital room burned Ilias's eyes, sharper than the emerald canyons of Eldoria, that flashed behind his lids whenever he closed them. "They're not hallucinations," he whispered to the window, watching rain streak down the glass like tears. Dr. Myra knocked softly before entering, her dark hair tied back in a knot reminiscent of the twisted roots of Eldoria's heartwood trees, known for singing secrets to those who listened. "Elias, how's the vision today?" Her voice was warm, but he caught a flicker of recognition in her eyes. He didn't yet know that her grandmother had once drawn maps of Eldoria in the margins of old medical journals. Lena was there again, he said, sitting up. She was holding a moon blossom, the one that glows when two worlds touch. She said, "Earth's greed is seeping in. The war is coming." Dr. Mira set down his medication, her hand hesitating. "What if I told you I've seen that flower too?" Before he could respond, a crash echoed down the hall. Dorian's minions, men cloaked in shadows, shimmering with Eldorian magic, had breached the hospital's security. Elias's vision split. One eye saw the white walls crumbling. The other saw Lena racing through Eldoria's crystal forests, her hands glowing as she called vines to block their path. Chapter 2, The Guardian and the Stranger. The moment Ilias's feet touched Eldorian soil for the first time, not in a vision, he truly felt it. Lena tackled him behind a boulder as a fireball whizzed overhead. "You're late," she grinned, her eyes wide with fear. Her nature magic hummed around her, turning dead grass green beneath their hands. "I didn't know I could come here," Elias breathed, staring at the sky purple and gold, with two moons hanging like silver coins. That's when he noticed a man with hair like spun sunlight, wielding a sword crackling with lightning, cutting through Dorian's minions like paper. "That's Kale," Lena said softly. "King Aric's younger brother. He's a Stormweaver, one of the strongest in Eldoria. And he's my best friend. My brother from another mother, as you'd say on Earth." Kale strode over, chest heaving, and clapped Lena on the back. "You brought the bridge boy. Good, we need him." His eyes met Ilias's, and in that instant, a bond clicked true, unshakable. Brothers too. But as Kale faced the next wave of attackers, Elias noticed a woman on a nearby cliff, her hand the color of midnight, her hands wrapped around a staff glowing with ice. She was beautiful and dangerous, staring right at him. "Who's that?" he asked. Lena's jaw tightened. "Seraphina, Dorian's sister. But she's not like him. Not really." Chapter 3, Spices and Secrets. That night, they hid in a tavern in Eldoria's lower city, a maze of narrow streets, where the poor scraped by, their homes built into the sides of canyons. Kale snuck them in, using his storm magic to dim the tavern's lights so Dorian's spies wouldn't see. The air was thick with the scent of spiceberries, sweet and fiery, the taste that defined Eldorian nights. Seraphina found them there, slipping through the door like smoke, her eye staff hidden beneath a cloak. "I'm not here to hurt you," she said, her voice low. Elias stood, his dual vision flaring. He saw her on Earth, too, working as a nurse in a hospital across town, the same one where his mother had died. "You're a bridge, too," he whispered. She shook her head, half Eldorian. "Like you." Her eyes locked with his, and the room fell silent even. The tavern keeper paused. Pain and love twisted together in his chest. Pain for the mother he'd lost. Love for this stranger who understood his split soul. Lena and Kale exchanged a knowing look. They'd seen this coming. "We have to go," Kale said, standing. "Dorian knows you're here. He's declared war on Earth, using Seraphine's connection to track you down." Seraphina stepped closer, her hand brushing his. "I won't let him hurt you," she said. "But if we stay together, he'll find us. We have to separate." Chapter 4, The War of Two Worlds. The next morning, the sky over Eldoria turned red. Dorian's army, made of corrupted mystical creatures and wealthy nobles who craved more power, marched on the Heartwood Grove, where the barrier between worlds was thinnest. King Aric stood at the front of his army, his crown gleaming, but his hands trembled. He'd always feared Earth's negativity, but now he feared losing his throne more. "Brother," Kale called out, stepping forward, "Dorian is using you. He doesn't care about Eldoria, he just wants to rule both worlds." Aric laughed, but it was hollow. "And you care?" You, who fraternizes with the poor and the bridge boy. You've always been weak, Kale. The first blow was struck. Dorian's minions unleashed a wave of shadow magic that turned the grass black. Lena raised her hands, and a wall of trees sprung up, but the shadows ate through them like fire. Elias stood between the two armies, his dual vision showing him the best of both worlds and the worst. Earth's cities burning, Eldoria's forests dying. Seraphina, he called out, and she emerged from Dorian's ranks, her eyes filled with tears. She'd made a deal with her brother. She'd pretend to join him, then betray him at the right moment. But Dorian had caught on. Choose, Sister Dorian snarled, holding a dagger to her throat. Him or Eldoria. Elias's power surged. He could feel both worlds pulling at him. He closed his eyes, and for the first time, he didn't fight the vision. He saw his mother on Earth, smiling at him. He saw Lena and Kale standing by his side. He saw Seraphina, the woman he loved, her heart breaking. I choose both, he roared, and a wave of light exploded from his body, so bright it blinded the armies. The heartwood trees began to sing, and the moon blossom Lena had given him glowed in his pocket, its petals opening to reveal a bridge of light between the two worlds. Chapter 5: Separation and the Cost of Power. The light faded, and the war stopped. Dorian's army was thrown back, his shadow magic broken by Ilias's light. But the cost was steep. The bridge could only stay open if someone held it permanently. Seraphina stepped forward. I'll do it, she said, taking Ilias's hand. I'm half of both worlds. I can maintain the barrier and keep the bridge open. But we'll be separated. I'll be here, in Eldoria, and you'll be on Earth. We can talk, we can see each other through the bridge, but we can't touch. Tears streamed down Ilias's face. I can't lose you. You won't, she said, kissing his cheek, her lips cold like ice, but her touch warm. Love doesn't need to be physical to be real. King Arik, humbled by the battle, knelt before Elias. I was wrong, he said. Earth isn't the enemy, fear is. Kale, you're wiser than I am. I name you my heir, so you can lead Eldoria into a new age of peace. Kale pulled Elias into a hug his brother from another mother. We'll watch over her for you, he said, nodding at Seraphina. Lena squeezed Ilias's hand, her eyes glistening. And you'll watch over Earth for us. We're connected, always. Chapter 6: The Bridge Between. Months later, Elias stood in the hospital garden. He'd been released, thanks to Dr. Myra, who'd finally admitted her own connection to Eldoria. He pulled out the moon blossom, which he'd preserved, and held it up to the sky. The two moons of Eldoria appeared in the Earth's night sky, faint, but visible. Seraphina, he whispered, and her voice echoed in his head. I'm here, my love. He could see her on the other side of the light bridge, standing in the Heartwood Grove, her ice staff glowing, Kale and Lena beside her. The poor of Eldoria were now being trained as guardians, their voices rising in song with the trees. King Arik had stepped down, and Kale ruled with compassion, ensuring no one was left behind. Ilias's mental health had improved, too. He no longer saw his visions as a curse, but as a gift. He worked with Dr. Myra to help other people who could see between worlds, breaking the stigma that had trapped him for so long. He touched the light bridge, and even though he couldn't feel her hand, he felt her love stronger than any magic, deeper than any pain. The separation hurt, but it had taught him something. Power wasn't about ruling, it was about connecting. And friendship, loyalty, and love, they were the threads that held both worlds together. The moon blossom glowed brighter, and for a moment, the barrier faded just enough. He could smell the spiceberries of Eldoria, hear the trees sing, and feel Seraphine's presence, as if she were right there. Until we can touch again, she said. Until then, he replied, smiling at the two moons in the sky. Chapter 7: The Fire That Forges. 6 months after the war, Elias stood in a cramped apartment in Leeds, talking to a young woman named Maya, who'd been hearing voices from Eldoria. They're not demons, he said gently, holding up the moon blossom. They're guardians. They need your help. Maya's eyes widened as the flower glowed, and suddenly she could see Eldoria's crystal spires rising through the air. Dr. Myra leaned against the doorframe, watching. You're good at this, she said later, as they walked back to the hospital. Turning fear into purpose, Ilias's chest tightened. He'd been talking to Serafina every night, but the distance was starting to wear. "I saw a new star in the sky last night," her voice echoed in his head. "It's called the Lover's Spark. They say it only appears when two souls are bound across worlds." That same night, in Eldoria, Cale stood on the palace balcony, Lena at his side. "Dorian's not gone," he said, his storm magic crackling in the air. "His spies are still moving through the lower city. They're whispering about a second war, one that will burn both worlds to the ground." Lena's hands glowed green as she summoned a wind to carry their words away. "Then we'll be ready. But Cale, you've been pushing yourself too hard. When was the last time you slept?" Chapter 8. Spices and Scars. The sight of him made Serafina freeze, then tears streamed down her face, mixing with the blood from her arm. "Elias, what are you doing here? The bridge isn't stable enough. You could get trapped." "Let me be trapped," he said, pulling her into his arms. The feeling of her against him was like coming home. Her skin was cold, but her heartbeat was warm, and he could smell the spice berries in her hair. "I can't let you get hurt again." Cale and Lena arrived, fighting off the last of the minions. "You shouldn't have come," Cale said, but his eyes were soft with relief. "Dorian's been waiting for this for you to cross over. He wants to use your dual power to shatter the bridge entirely." Just then, the ground shook. A figure emerged from the smoke. Dorian, but changed. His skin was black as shadow, his eyes glowing red, and in his hand was a sword forged from the core of a dead star. "You came," he hissed, grinning. "Perfect. With your power and my star sword, I'll rule both worlds or destroy them trying." Behind him stood a man Elias had never seen tall, with the same golden hair as Cale and King Arik. "Uncle," Cale whispered, his voice breaking. The man smiled coldly. "Hello, nephew. I'm Valerius, King Arik's older brother, the rightful heir. Dorian found me in the Forgotten Realms, where Arik exiled me years ago. Together, we'll take back what's ours." King Arik appeared on the hill above them, his face ashen. "Valerius, I thought you were dead." "Death is for the weak," Valerius snarled, and with a wave of his hand, a wall of fire erupted between the two sides. The war was back, and this time, it was personal. Chapter 9. Brothers in Blood and Bond. The fire spread fast, eating through the heartwood grove. Lena screamed as a heartwood tree fell, its song silenced forever. "We have to stop them," she cried, summoning a wall of vines to hold back the flames. Cale charged at Valerius, his lightning sword clashing with the star sword. Sparks flew, lighting up the sky. "You exiled him because you were afraid," Valerius growled. "Afraid he was stronger than you, afraid he'd take your throne." "I exiled you because you killed our parents," Arik roared, joining the fight. For the first time, Elias saw the king's true power. His hands glowed with golden light, the magic of the royal bloodline. Meanwhile, Elias and Serafina fought side by side against Dorian. Her ice magic clashed with his fire, creating clouds of steam. "Why are you doing this?" Elias asked, his dual vision letting him see the pain beneath Dorian's rage. "Because I was born a noble, but I was always second," Dorian hissed. "Serafina got the power, the beauty. I got nothing, until Valerius showed me how to take what's mine." Seraphine's eyes filled with tears. "Brother, please. I've always loved you even when you hated me." It was enough to make him hesitate. For a split second, the fire in his eyes faded. That's when Cale struck his lightning sword, cutting through Valerius's star sword, shattering it into a million pieces. But Valerius didn't give up. He grabbed Lena, holding a dagger to her throat. "Choose, Cale," he snarled, "your throne, or your sister from another mother." Cale dropped his sword. "Take the throne. Just let her go." Elias's power surged. He could feel both worlds crying, Oterd cities shaking, Eldoria's mountains cracking. He closed his eyes, and this time, he didn't just connect the worlds, he merged them, if only for a moment. The moon blossom in his pocket burst into bloom, its petals spreading out to form a shield of light that pushed Valerius back. Chapter 10. The Price of Forever. The shield held, but it was draining Elias. Serafina wrapped her arms around him, her ice magic cooling his burning skin. "Stop," she whispered. "You'll kill yourself." "I'd rather die than lose you," he said, and in that moment, something shifted. The lovers' star blazed brighter in the sky, and the light bridge began to solidify, no longer just a temporary connection, but a permanent path between the worlds. Valerius, weakened by the light, tried to run, but Arik caught him. "It's over," the king said, his voice heavy with sorrow. "I'm sorry, brother. I should have tried to help you, not exile you." Valerius's eyes filled with tears. "I'm sorry too," he whispered, and then he crumpled to the ground, the dark magic leaving his body. Dorian fell to his knees, too, watching his uncle die. "What have I done?" he sobbed. Seraphina knelt beside him, taking his hand. "It's not too late to make it right," she said. As the fire died down, the heartwood grove began to heal. New saplings sprouted from the ash, their songs soft but strong. Kale pulled Lena into a hug, lifting her off the ground. "You're okay," he breathed, and she laughed bright and free, like the wind through the trees. Elias looked at Seraphina, and for the first time in months, he could touch her without pain. The bridge was open forever. "We did it," he said, kissing her deeply. The taste of spice berries and rain filled his mouth, and he knew he was home in both worlds. King Arik placed a hand on Kale's shoulder. "The throne is yours, nephew. Rule with the compassion you've always shown. And Elias, you are the bridge that saved us all. You will always have a home in Eldoria." That night, they gathered in the lower city tavern, the air thick with music and spiceberries. Dorian sat in the corner, talking to Maya Hood, crossed over to help heal the wounded, his eyes soft with hope. Lena danced with Kale, their magic mixing to create flowers that glowed in the dark. Elias held Seraphine's hand, looking out at the crowd, nobles and poor earthlings and Eldorians, all together. His mental health was stronger than ever, the stigma broken by his courage. He had his love, his brothers and sister, from another mother, and a purpose that stretched across two worlds. The lover's spark star shone down on them, and the moon blossom in his pocket glowed with a light that would never fade. "This is just the beginning," Seraphina whispered. "And it's going to be beautiful," he replied. Chapter 11. The Shadow-Tide Asterisk. 3 years passed in a blur of peace. Earth and Eldoria traded goods, and knowledge Eldorian guardians taught Earthlings to harness small bits of magic, while Earth's doctors brought medicine to Eldoria's poor. Elias and Seraphina split their time between Leeds and the crystal spires of Kale's palace, their love growing stronger with every sunrise they shared. Kale and Lena were inseparable. He ruled with a firm but kind hand. She led the Guardian army, and their friendship had grown into something spicy in the quiet hours of the night. They whispered promises under the two moons, a bond that pulsed like the magic they wielded. But beneath the surface, strange occurrences hinted at a looming threat, shadows flickering at the edges of their vision, whispers in the wind that spoke of dark omens. Then came the day the sky turned black. Elias was in Leeds, teaching a class on interworld communication, when the ground opened up beneath him. A deafening roar preceded the emergence of a tide of shadow beings, creatures made of pure darkness, with no eyes but teeth like shards of glass. Their screams froze blood in veins, echoing like a chilling whisper through the air. Wherever they touched, life withered to dust, leaving a trail of despair in their wake. Iliaster, everywhere. Seraphine's voice crashed into his mind, raw with terror. He looked up and saw it through the bridge. Eldoria was being swarmed. The Heartwood Grove was burning again, but this time the fire was black, consuming everything in its path. Panic gripped him as he thought of the life they had built together. Kale's storm magic raged across the sky, lightning striking the shadows like whips, illuminating the chaos. But for every one he destroyed, 3 more took its place, swarming relentlessly. Lena called forth forests of thorns, but the shadows slithered right through them. "We're losing," she roared, desperation lacing her voice, as a shadow being lunged at her. Kale threw himself in front of her, taking a deep gash to his side. Elias didn't wait. He grabbed the moon blossom and ran for the bridge. His dual vision showing him the horror on both worlds. Leeds' streets filled with screaming people, Eldoria's cities falling to ruin. The weight of responsibility pressed down on him like a physical force, fueling his urgency. He couldn't let darkness consume everything they had fought for. Chapter 12. The Battle of Broken Skies. Asterisk. The moment he stepped into Eldoria, the stench of death hit him like a physical blow. The land was a war zone, shadows swirling around him, and the air thick with despair. Seraphina was fighting on the palace walls, her ice magic creating glaciers that crushed shadows, but her arms shook, her breath coming in ragged gasps. "I thought I'd lost you," he said, pulling her into a fierce kiss, desperate, hungry, full of the fear that this might be the last time. "Not today," she growled, pulling away and impaling a shadow being with an ice spear. "Look there, in the center." He followed her gaze. At the heart of the shadow tide stood a figure wrapped in black armor, their face hidden by a helmet that looked like a skull. Shadows writhed around them, bending away as if in fear. In their hand was a staff that drank light, turning the air around them into a void. "That's the Shadow Warden," Dorian said, appearing at their side, his fire magic, now a force for good. "Ancient legend says they were sealed away. Eons ago someone let them out." The Shadow Warden raised their staff, and a wave of darkness exploded outward, throwing Seraphina off the wall. Elias dove after her, catching her in mid-air, his dual power flaring to slow their fall. They hit the ground hard, but he held her tight, his heart pounding against hers. "I love you," he whispered, urgency coloring his words, and she kissed him again. Right as a shadow lunged at their throats, a bolt of lightning struck it down. Kale stood above them, his side bandaged, eyes wild with battle fury. "Brothers don't let brothers get eaten by shadows," he grinned, even as blood seeped through his bandages. Lena landed beside him, her hair matted with sweat and ash, hands glowing with the brightest green magic Elias had ever seen. "We've got a plan," she said, her voice sharp with excitement. "But it's crazy." "Good," Elias said, standing up, adrenaline fueling his resolve. "Crazy is my middle name." As they gathered, Elias felt the weight of their shared history and the stakes of the battle ahead. "We fight together," he declared, locking eyes with each of them, grounding them in their unity. "For our worlds." Chapter 13. Spices of Courage and the Fire of Love, *. The plan was simple and suicidal. They'd split into two teams. Kale and Lena would lead the Guardian army to distract the Shadow Tide. Dorian would use his fire magic to create a wall of light. Elias and Seraphina with their dual-world power would face the Shadow Warden head-on, using the Moon Blossom to seal them away again. As they prepared, Lena handed Seraphina a pouch of spice brews. "For luck," she said, winking, a spark of hope igniting within them. "And for when this is over, we're having a feast, and you two are dancing with us." Kale clapped Elias on the back, his expression shifting from playful to serious. "Bring her back," he said firmly, eyes locked on Elias. "Both of you." The battle erupted like a storm unleashed. Kale's lightning lit up the black sky, illuminating the chaos like a fireworks show, while Lena's thorns and vines created a maze of death for the encroaching shadows. Dorian's firewall blazed bright, pushing the tide back inch by inch. The air was filled with screams and roars, the ground shaking with every blow, a cacophony that echoed the stakes of their fight. Elias and Seraphina ran through the pandemonium, their hands intertwined, an unbreakable bond amidst despair. He could feel her heartbeat, a steady reminder of what they were fighting for. The Shadow Warden saw them coming and raised their staff. Darkness shot out, striking Seraphina in the chest. She cried out, collapsing to her knees, her ice magic flickering like a dying flame. "No," Elias roared, anguish flooding through him. His power exploded, a fierce light igniting within him. He could feel Earth's people sending him strength, Eldoria's guardians cheering his name. In that moment, he was no longer just a bridge between worlds. He was a weapon, a force of nature. He lifted the Moon Blossom, and it blazed with the light of both suns and both moons, a radiant symbol of hope and unity. Seraphina pushed herself up, her eyes shimmering with love and determination. "Together," she said, her voice steady, grounding him amidst the chaos. Their powers merged light and ice, earth and Eldoria, love and courage. They charged the Shadow Warden, hearts pounding in sync. The staff clashed with the Moon Blossom, a shockwave reverberating through the battlefield, throwing everyone back. For a fleeting moment, time stopped. Helios saw his life with Seraphina flash before his eyes, their first kiss under the stars, the painful separation that had forged their bond, their joyful reunion, and the children they dreamed of having someday. He held on tight, pouring every ounce of love and hope he had into the flower, a beacon of their shared future. The Shadow Warden's armor cracked, shards of darkness falling away like dead leaves. Then it shattered completely. The void around them collapsed, a brilliant light flooding the battlefield as the shadow tide disintegrated into dust, leaving only silence in its wake. Amidst the stillness, Elias dropped to his knees, breathless. The echoes of battle faded, replaced by a profound silence. He glanced at Seraphina, who knelt beside him, her expression a mix of triumph and exhaustion. "We did it," she whispered, tears glistening in her eyes. But even in their victory, a shadow loomed in Ilias's heart. He could still feel the weight of those they had lost. "What if they come back?" he murmured, fear creeping into his voice. Seraphina took his hand, squeezing it reassuringly. "We'll be ready," she said, a fire igniting in her gaze. Together. As they rose, they were met by Kale and Lena, their faces smeared with ash, but grinning widely. "I told you we'd celebrate," Kale shouted, laughter echoing in the now peaceful air. Elias smiled, but the memory of the battle lingered. He knew their fight wasn't over, but for now, they had triumphed, and together, they would face whatever came next.